Ready, break. Welcome back to another episode of the Viking Huddle. I'm your host, Trent Scott. I don't have Rowan with me today, but got Mr. Korn. Mr. Korn, how you doing today?
Well, I'm not Rowan Iwanek, but some have said maybe a better looking version of the... No?
No.
I'm not a better looking... Oh, okay. We were just talking about it. I'll be 44 here in a few days, and I don't feel 44. And I feel more 18, but I don't look 18. So it happens fast, brother.
I know.
No, you don't know.
I'm graduating next year.
You don't know. You think you know. You don't know.
All right. But anyway, welcome back to another episode of the Viking Huddle. The Viking Huddle is powered by Ibid Electric Company, so thank you to the fine people at Ibid for giving us a sponsorship. Who is our new one?
Mr. Kyle Zelmer with Horizon Realty Group. He's also our school board president, and we were at a school board meeting, and I said, hey, if you want to sponsor, and then he approached me afterwards. He said, I'll sponsor, and we're like, cha-ching. So no,
free money.
And we got a lot of this equipment that we get is from our sponsor. So if you want to sponsor community member, please email dustin.cornelius@nileschools.org. But no, we do appreciate our sponsors. And just a shout out quick to Ted Schrader from Schrader Tree Farms. He was our first sponsor from the fall. Thank you so much, Ted. And we cashed the check. So thank you. It's a business, man.
It's how it works. But so we haven't done this in a while. We haven't gave out our Niles Athletics in a minute. So we want to recognize baseball, who won an extra innings yesterday against Mishawaka.
Mishawaka, yeah.
It was just regular Mishawaka.
Yep.
Mishawaka High School.
Yep.
Brendan Olson. Oh, man.
Oh, Brendan Olson.
Hit 2 home runs.
First inning and the 10th inning.
And the 10th inning to end it. But other than that, today they play another game at home against Sturgis at 3 o'clock, actually.
Is it 3? Okay.
It's 3. They changed it to 3.
Okay.
So
and that's in 3 hours here-ish, 3.5 hours.
Yep. And then softball is also home against Sturgis at 3.
And we've had to cancel a lot of games because of the weather. This is the coldest April I can ever remember. It's not
terrible.
Ideal. It's not ideal, as Rowan Iwanek would say.
Yeah. And then tennis, they took a hard loss yesterday.
Who'd they lose to?
Edwardsburg.
What's their mascot?
And Eddie?
What is an Eddie? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. All right.
I'm still I'm doing my research on it.
We'll figure it out. We're going to figure it out.
But Cheyenne Small played well, and Brooklyn Hemger and Scarlett Talman won their duo match.
Yeah, so, Mr. Herm had a lot of praise for them. He said they played really, really well. He said it was a hard loss, but he was proud of how they played yesterday.
Right. And then soccer, they had tough defeat against St. Joe, 7-0. So they'll rebound. But the other day they played Three Rivers and tied 2-2 in a regulation.
Oh, that's good.
So
and Three Rivers is normally good.
Yep. So that was their first conference meetup. And then track today is at Mishawaka. Boys only starts at 4 o'clock now. They moved in an hour back. So
and Trenton throws on the track team, and he's also the 100-yard dash sprinter. So if you want to
4x1.
Oh, is it 4?
The big man for big man.
Oh, you got a big man relay?
Yeah.
Who's all on the big man relay?
So the other week it was me, Bryce Young.
Okay.
Jordan Cunningham and Aiden. How do you say him? Aiden McCartney or McCary?
He's not big.
No, not that Aiden. This is different. He's a sophomore. They're like their last names are
like
similar.
A really good sprinter. So
yeah, and he kind of hurt his foot, but he's okay now.
Okay,
he's okay now.
All right. So the big man relay. So you can come out and support the track. How many track things have you guys canceled because of the weather?
A lot. We only had instead of a GVSU one, we only had one official meet.
Okay.
So today's our second one ever.
Second official meet.
We had to cancel senior night.
Really?
Against Edwardsburg and Sturgis, and then our next, I think senior night's next week against Three Rivers and Plainwell.
Okay. So. All right. Well, hey, some of you may have heard Niles is it's not a tiny community, but it's a smaller community. But our head basketball coach, Miles Busby, has resigned. He stepped down. But we want to give a big thanks to Miles because we know that he has put in a lot of time, a lot of his energy, hard work to really build the program back up. And listen, I learned this when I was teaching at Dowagiac. People are so critical of coaches.
Yeah.
And I learned from watching Mike Stanger, the football coach at Dowagiac. That's every single day you're doing stuff for the kids. Like, it's nonstop. People do not realize how much time goes into coaching, especially varsity. Literally recruiting, driving kids, weight room. It is nonstop. And so we do want to give Miles a shout out and say thank you, Miles, for what you've done for our community and for our kids. And we appreciate your dedication, and we wish you the best of luck as you continue in your professional journey. So thank you, Coach Busby, for what you've done for Niles High School.
But we got a new coach here. He is with us today, Mr. Mark Haase. How are you doing today?
Man, doing great. Happy to be here.
Man. But so, first of all, welcome back home to Niles.
Welcome back home.
Thank you.
So, let's kick things off.
I know Mark, okay, but you don't. And
all
so
right.
that's
Listen.
This is a different type of perspective in the interview here.
But let's kick things off. You graduated from Niles High School. Okay, first of all, what was your elementary school? Was it Ballard?
No, Oak Manor.
Oak Manor.
Was it elementary school before all
That was an elementary school.
Oh,
yeah.
I never knew that.
Oak Manor,
Who was
baby.
the principal at Oak Manor? Do you remember?
No.
No.
He doesn't.
It was a guy, wasn't it?
Cater? No.
Okay. Well, I remember
It was a guy.
one of my best friends went to Oak Manor, and I was thinking about that the other day because for some reason I was thinking about Oak Manor, and I was like, who was the principal there? So it's odd that.
I'm thinking of Robert something, but
Okay.
don't quote me on that.
Okay. So Oak Manor.
Oak Manor.
So
Okay.
Where'd you go?
I went to Howard with Mrs. Barb Garrard as our principal, who was Barb Brawley. You probably don't know that.
Yeah.
Brawleys are everywhere. Yeah.
They're everywhere. Was Ballard in elementary still?
Yep.
It was.
Ballard
was?
actually used to be a junior high.
Yeah.
Back in the day, that's why Ring
That's
Lardner
where
and
my
Ballard
aunt
looked the same.
for junior.
Yeah.
My aunt went there for her junior high.
Yep. So you went to Oak Manor?
Went to Oak Manor.
Okay.
That's
And then
when there was 4 elementaries back then. East Side was an elementary.
Yep.
Ballard, Howard, and Oak Manor.
okay. And then you went to Ring Lardner?
Went to Ring Lardner.
Ring Lardner, and 0 referrals there, right?
I won't say that. There might have been a couple days in the old ISS room, possibly.
Okay. All right. And then you went to Niles High School. And what year did you graduate from Niles?
Graduated 1996.
Oh my gosh. These were the music glory years. The late 90s.
Tupac.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was something. So 1996 graduate. Can you kind of talk about because you were, I think, a senior when I was a freshman. And I saw you were in Niles after you graduated because you used to umpire.
I did.
Down at Babe Ruth, and I played baseball.
Yep.
And I remember I played first base, so sometimes you and I would have conversations. I'm not going to tell the audience what we were what we were talking about, but he was the coolest umpire. You and Matt Johnson was a really good umpire too. But then after I graduated, I hadn't seen you in a while. So can you kind of tell the audience and people maybe who are tuning in about your journey after graduating high school and then going into your professional life? I did some Google searching today, and so I kind of have an idea, but can you kind of tell the audience what happened after you graduate?
Yep. Left here, played baseball at LMC. Ended up going to Western Michigan, graduating there, got a teaching degree. While I was in college, got lucky to be given the opportunity to coach freshman basketball at Three Rivers.
Okay.
I was 20 years old when I got that. Ended up student teaching there the next year. So I coached a couple years of freshman boys and then a year of freshman girls.
So you were coaching while you were still in college?
I was.
Wow.
Yep. And had really good teams. I think we lost 6 or 7 games in 3 seasons.
Okay.
So I thought I was the next John Wooden, right? Like, oh, this is so easy. So I get my teaching degree, and the only place I technically applied for a teaching job was at Seago.
Okay.
And the reason I applied, they had JV boys basketball job open. So I applied, I got that job. And once I got hired for the boys gig as well, girls basketball was in the fall. So I coached JV girls and JV boys, and then 2 years later, I took over the varsity boys job there.
Oh, wow.
So taught 2 years of middle school there, 22 years. The last 22 years I've been teaching high school at Otsego High.
Okay. But you taught middle school.
I did. Taught 2 years of middle school, taught 7th grade, then taught 8th grade, then taught 9th grade. So I had the same crew 3 years in a row.
Oh, okay. So you traveled with them.
I did.
Okay, cool.
So my coaching career, varsity boys basketball, JV girls, ended up coaching JV football at Otsego as well when the seasons changed. Went from Otsego to Berrien Springs, from Berrien Springs to Kalamazoo Hackett.
Okay.
And then the COVID year, I did I have a daughter. She went to Paw Paw. Okay. And the COVID year, which was, I don't know, the season was about a month that year.
Oh, yeah.
I coached at Paw Paw and realized real quick, man, my kid plays sports. I can't do this. Yeah. So haven't been doing anything for the last few years other than watching high school basketball games on the NFHS every Tuesday and Friday. So.
And you had the itch.
I had the itch, man, big time.
So in total, how many years, if you can add them up, do the Niles High School education math right now, how many years have you been coaching in total? Like starting from your freshman job?
Freshman jobs, I would say we're looking at 22.
22 years of coaching.
I got my first varsity basketball job at 25.
Wow.
So I'm not that old. I'm not that young anymore either.
Right. But that's a lot of experience.
A lot of experience.
Because you started really young.
I did.
Yeah.
17 years of coaching varsity basketball.
I got to ask you, as a new coach, man, like just from your teacher.
Yep.
So like, I know when I reflect on what I was like as a teacher my first few years and what I am like now, how have you grown? Like if you could go back and talk to that young 20-year-old coach, what would you say like to that kid?
One word: patience.
Okay.
I think when you're young, man, you want everything done. You want everything done now.
Yep.
I think as you get older, you realize a lot of things that you stress about and you kind of thought were going to be something big don't end up being that at all.
Yeah.
So patience, man.
Patience.
Yep. Patience. Yeah. And even as a teacher, I think that's one area that you definitely grow in over the course of time. You learn how to manage things.
Yeah.
A heck of a lot better just because, hey, man, I've seen and done pretty much anything that you're going to throw at me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's, I just reflect on teaching, and man, if I could go back and tell my former self something, it would probably be, I don't know if patient, I would, organization. Like let me rephrase that. Adaptability. Because I remember I went into teaching and I thought, man, this is how I'm going to be. You know what I mean? And then you get in there and then you realize very quickly, maybe that's not how I'm going to be.
Right.
You know, because there are certain elements that I didn't understand until I was in the classroom. And I'm like, this is a lot different than what I thought it was going to be.
I've had like 5 student teachers.
Okay.
Over my course of my teaching career. And that's one of the first things I tell them. I was like, you're going to come in with this big aspiration of what it's going to be. Mm-hmm. And it's probably not going to be that.
Right.
And you're going to learn real quick, regardless of what your classes taught you, you're going to learn real quick what works for you.
Yep.
And it's going to get modified over the years. But what works for me isn't going to work for you necessarily, and vice versa. So here's all my stuff. Here's everything we'll give you, but it's yours.
Yeah.
You got to put your own personal touch on it. So education and coaching is that. Like, there's no one size fits all. There's no manual. Like, you
got to be you.
You got to be you. You got to be genuine. You got to be authentic and believe in what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So I did some Google searching and I saw that when you started at Otsego as the varsity coach, the first few years were rough.
Yep, we were terrible.
They were terrible.
Straight up with it.
Yeah, we're gonna be honest. When I took that job, there was 12 winning seasons in the history of the school.
Wow.
In the history of the school. And I knew when I took it, we weren't going to be very good for a few years.
Yep.
But I'm 25. I want to be a varsity coach.
Yeah.
I'm working here already. Let's do it. So for the first 4 years, we were pretty terrible.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there thinking they could probably let me go at any point, and I would probably agree.
Yeah.
But we put a lot of time in. Our summer camp grew. Our summer program grew. We started to have more parent involvement, taking kids to play in leagues in the youth and stuff like that. And then, so you saw it. It was starting to come. Mm-hmm. And then year 5, it came.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, since then, Otsego's always been pretty solid and pretty good. This year, they weren't. But we kind of helped to kind of set that and kind of pave the way for that. It also gave me a great appreciation. Won a lot of games too. We had a great run when I was at Hackett. We had an undefeated season where we ended up losing in the quarterfinals. Losing early in my career, I think, gave me an appreciation for winning later.
Yeah.
And it's not all me.
Yep.
I'm going to have I'm a role and I'm going to do this, but if I'm going to get all the credit for 24-1, I got to get all the blame for 2-19.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably somewhere more in the middle.
Yeah. 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 That's, I taught at Dowagiac for a long time.
Yep.
And so you had to have been there.
Yeah.
Because I used to DJ the games.
When they had Dontel.
I was there. Yeah.
Okay. So, I had Jared Klein, who was a Division I point guard for me.
Yeah.
They had some pretty good battles. They played AAU together.
Oh, did they?
So they were kind of friends. And I think Jared's junior year, he had 42 at Dowagiac one night.
Yeah. So I used to DJ the basketball games there.
I remember.
Okay. So I didn't know that you were the coach.
Yeah.
Because I'm so busy, doing stuff and whatever. I didn't even know that you were the coach. But I always knew that when Otsego came, it was going to be a battle, and that they were fundamentally sound.
Yeah.
I vividly remember that. And they've been good since then.
They have been. They only won 5 games this year, but generally, they've had a really good youth program. Basketball is important there.
Yeah.
Hadn't always been that way, prior to early 2000s or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Trenton, you want to move on?
So, and then you came here. You're starting a coaching job here, and today's your first day coming back into the high school. What?
Good Friday.
It was on a Good Friday.
Yeah.
What does it feel like walking back in these hallways after 30-some years?
Have you been in this building?
No. I've been in the building. I've been in the gym. So I've coached against Niles.
Yes, that's right.
Two different times. So I've been in the gym. My daughter's had softball games here, so I've been out at Vela Park. Not been in the office, not been down any hallway.
Not in this library?
Since 1996.
Okay.
So it was pretty awesome today. I actually went to the middle school, went over Ring Larner before I came over here, and it had been even way longer since I've been in that building, Not a lot of change, to be honest with you, man. Just a sense of, man, this is familiar. This is pretty awesome, to be honest with you, man. To be able to come back to the place where I thoroughly enjoyed it here. Love growing up in Niles. My mom lives a mile away from here still to this day. Still got aunts and uncles all over the place. So I was pretty proud, to be honest with you, man.
Awesome.
Like, this is where I want to be. This is awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. When I found out that you were one of the candidates for the job, Justin Grinnell, do you remember Justin?
Yep, remember Justin.
He was a freshman, and I think they pulled him up during districts.
They did, yep.
Yeah, and I asked him because, I know you, but I don't know you that well.
Right.
And he played with, he was able to be in the same I didn't play basketball, obviously, but I said, what do you remember about him? And he said, I remember that he was extremely intelligent and that he worked harder than everybody else. Those were the two things that Justin said about you.
Well, appreciate that. I always thought I was a good leader. I was decently talented. I'm 5'11", so I'm not gifted with 6'3" or 6'4". I had decent athleticism.
Right.
I always thought I was a pretty good leader for the sports that I played. I was the guy that organized everything. Hey, let's go play at Magic Square out there on Barron Lake Road, or let's go play here. Let's do this or do that. Played at Brawley's house back in the day under the lights.
Yep.
So I always thought I accepted that. And I think that kind of started my wanting to be a coach.
Okay.
Because even in high school, I kind of served as that type of guy.
Yeah.
I think to our guys. Me and Coach Bud McGrain was my basketball coach, and I love Mr. McGrain. I thought he did a really good job of taking me kind of under his wing a little bit. Take me on scouting trips to go with him, kind of getting my mind around coaching basketball a little bit, even though I probably wasn't even thinking that at the time.
Do you think he was thinking that?
He might have been.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. It's funny because Dan Wright was the health teacher here, and he was my baseball coach. And when I was at Hackett, we went on a nice run. We made the quarterfinals, and he came to all the games.
Oh, that's awesome.
and would call me on the phone, and we're chatting it up. And I'm like, man, I haven't talked to this guy in 20 years, but man, it feels like yesterday.
Yeah.
Spent a lot of time with him. And, so those relationships, I want to have those relationships with my guys.
Sure.
Going forward, because here we are 30 years later, man, and I still remember that stuff, right? Experiences and things like that, like it was yesterday.
Yeah. So you want to do the second one of that, Trenton?
Oh,
the extras.
Tell us about, right, that one? Okay.
Yeah.
Because he already said it a little bit.
Yeah, he was in sports, but can you kind of talk about so what all sports did you play? Because I know you played basketball, right?
Yep. I played basketball, football, and baseball.
Okay.
I was in the Spanish club.
Okay.
Oh. I was in the N club. I don't know if that's still a thing.
We don't have an N club.
Okay. But you know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yep.
It was like for varsity athletes, and you would do different things. I was in junior civitan for a little bit.
Okay.
And when I was probably sophomore or junior in high school as well. Always had a job. We used to work at Old Peel's supermarket in town.
You don't know about that.
You don't know.
It's okay.
That's
there were two. There were two Peels, right?
There was two. There was one out across from McDonald's. That's where I worked at, and then there was one downtown there.
Yep. Two Peel's supermarkets, and we had two Demons.
Two Demons.
Demons was in Matt's Big Bash when I showed you that video. That was Demons. That was out in the Eastgate shopping center. Yeah. So, you were talking about some of the people who impacted you. When you reflect on your time here, you talked about Mr. Wright, you talked about Coach McGrain. Were there any of the other teachers when you look back and you're like, because now you're an educator, and you have kids, I'm sure, who come back and say, or they'll write you an email, or they'll whatever, they get they're friends on Facebook, and they'll, who were the ones that kind of like impacted you, even not even sports maybe, but just like, man, this person cares about me, this person is invested in me.
Yep. I mentioned Mr. Ed Kelly earlier. There was a math teacher, Mr. Ginnert,
Norm,
who I just thought was an awesome guy, down to earth, relatable, treated you well. And actually, I think his daughter was my 6th grade teacher at Oak Manor back in the day. It was her first ever teaching job. I always had a good relationship with Mr. Beebe. If you remember him, he was here as well. Joe Austin was another coach, obviously, but he was probably the best motivator I've ever been around. He was very good at that. Those probably were the main ones. Ed Kelly, man, I can't say enough.
He was teaching after he left and retired from here. He went to Notre Dame and taught at Notre Dame for a while.
So when I was here, man, I took a Shakespeare and film interpretation class with him.
Yep.
And the Shakespeare class, we had to reenact a scene, and so me and another guy, we dressed in tights, man. We
he got you, varsity athlete, to do that.
Yeah, on the stage. And one thing that I remember was we went to his house. Okay. And we had him a medieval feast.
Oh, really?
That he hosted and put on in his house. That's going above and beyond, man.
Oh, yeah.
That's
because you don't have to do that.
No, no, and most people wouldn't. Let me have 20-some high school kids come over to my house. No, thank you.
Right.
But that's the type of guy he was, I think.
Yeah.
The film interpretation class, he gave you a lot of freedom to kind of explore and to, figure things out on your own.
Yeah.
And I think if you gave a great effort in that, he rewarded that. And I remember I actually got him to come to one of my basketball games one night. I don't think he used to come to a lot of athletics. And I was like, man, you need to come. And he showed up. So,
yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Trenton, why you do number 4? Because I think this was an important question.
What makes Niles so special to you?
It was home, man. This is born and raised here. My mom and dad my dad was born and raised here. My dad went to school here. My mom still lives here. It's home. It's someplace that, maybe I haven't been in this building in 30 years, and maybe I haven't been here or there, but it's still home, and it always will be home, and now even more so. So that makes it special. Why would I want to come back? Not many people get this opportunity,
right?
To be the varsity coach at the school that you went to.
Right.
To me, not to some people, it might not matter.
Right.
To me, it means a lot. Therefore, I'm proud as heck of being given this opportunity. I'm honored to be given this opportunity. I'm I'm going to do whatever I possibly can to make this as successful as I possibly can. Yeah. Why? Because I owe it to this place, because I think that's what people try to do for me.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. You were talking about just all this coaching experience. So this is stuff I couldn't find on the internet. So what is your coaching style and your philosophy? Like, what, as a basketball coach, because I'm sure it's evolved throughout the years, but like, what are you going to try to instill in our players and in our program? How do you do things? How do you coach?
Well, we're going to try to play hard, play smart, and play together. And that means about 1,000 different things when you put those things together. We want to instill some toughness, not just physical toughness, mental toughness as well. We want guys that we want Niles to be proud of. Man, that's a basketball team that does it the right way. Right. They're going to win with class. If we happen to lose, we're going to lose with class. We're going to do it the right way. We're going to play hard. We're going to put our time in. I'm not a big yeller. I'm not a complainer. I'm not a finger pointer. And I kind of expect that out of our guys as well. Like, that's not what we're going to be.
Sure.
I said it at our meeting a little bit ago. I was just like, one of the best things in high school, if you play sports, is to be on a winning team, but be on a winning team with guys that you love and you enjoy.
Absolutely.
That is the most memorable experience that you'll ever have.
Yep.
Right. And when I'm thinking back on my coaching career, and the years in which we were really good were usually the years that we had great chemistry.
Sure.
And it made every day fun.
Yep.
And though you don't always remember, hey, what was the score of that Friday night game? But you will remember, hey, man, we made fun of this kid in the locker room, or hey, remember this story or that story. So I think I'm more of a player's coach. I'm not going to be in here yelling and this and that. There's multiple ways to do stuff. Mm-hmm. My coaching philosophy, offensively, we're going to try to put the ball in the basket a lot. I've had, generally we've scored a lot of points, the teams that I've coached. We want to get up and down the floor. We want to space. We want to move the ball. We want to get to the free throw line. We want to rebound. Kind of all the coaching cliches that you could possibly think of. Defensively, we definitely here, and we have the athletes to really pressure and to kind of put the pressure on the other team. So I anticipate, full court, trapping, doing those things as well. But we're gonna push toughness. We're gonna push chemistry, man. Those are two things that are hugely important.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like my best friends now are the guys who I played with. Right. Like, we played sports together, and you are right. So our baseball team won regionals. We went to quarterfinals. We didn't have any Division I baseball players on that team, but we grew up from the age of 8 years old, and we played together, and we played flashlight tag at Brawley's house, and we would go out to Messner's house. We were buddies, and so that chemistry makes a big difference.
Yeah, it's vastly underrated. When you have guys that enjoy each other, and then there's not a jealousy. There's not oh man, this kid got this, or this kid got that. And I always I think I do a pretty good job of treating everybody, pretty fairly. Maybe the best player on my team gets treated a little worse than some of the other guys. But you want to buy in. You want to get a buy-in from your guys to be all in and all on the same page. And if you get that and you experience success, man, you're going to have a really fun season.
You were talking about the offense. The game of basketball has changed. Mm-hmm. I really feel like, I don't know anything about basketball, but I really feel like, especially when Steph Curry came in, it's like all of a sudden, not even just at the pro level, but at the, the collegiate level and even the high school level, that the 3-point shot became a really a pivotal focus for a lot of teams. Since you've been coaching, have you seen that evolve for you, or just in general, or is that, no, that's not?
No, I think you're 100% right. I think the game has evolved for more spread. I think the game used to be, when I was growing up, 80s and 90s, there was maybe a little more slower pace, but a lot more bang it inside. Oh, you got a big guy, you got to throw it to him. Nowadays, most teams play with only one post guy inside, or sometimes zero, and they, a lot of ball screens, a lot of dribble handoffs. So a lot less emphasis on inside play, a lot more emphasis on shooting the three and shooting the ball from the perimeter. And so, Curry's revolutionized basketball, and that goes all the way down to youth league, really, man. You see these kids chucking shots up.
Yeah. It's totally changed it. At least from what I've seen, I've noticed that because I've been watching from being a teacher. I have seen so many high school basketball games, and I have just in that short time, the 15 years, I've seen just this evolution in it, especially when I was in high school watching you guys play. So, you want to move on to the next segment, Trenton?
Yep. So what can not only players, but fans and community expect this upcoming December?
Well, I think you're going to see a team that's going to play exceptionally hard, a team that's going to play together, and a team that hopefully is going to achieve a heck of a lot of success. Hopefully it's one that if you're a fan or you're somebody in the community, you're really going to enjoy coming to these games. Like, we got some great athletes so far from what I've seen.
We do.
We're going to, the goal is we want to put an exciting product on there that, man, it's an event to come to the game, man.
Yeah.
It's fun to come to the game. Like, oh, man,
let's get your popcorn ready.
That's a raucous atmosphere. Right. Those are the best types of games, man, where it's loud and people, everyone's standing up the whole game, as opposed to, oh man, no shade at Vicksburg or someplace, but you go to Vicksburg on a Tuesday night, you can count the fans on one side of the gym, right?
Yeah.
We want to pack this place. We were pretty decent in high school, not awesome. Mr. Brawley's teams were better than ours, obviously. But we still drew a great crowd. And I remember the excitement, even every game I had coming out. Like, man, the adrenaline get pumping. And I want to hopefully have our players experience the same thing, man. We should be good. We should be really good. The expectations should be high for us, right? Man, let's pack this place and make this a destination on a Tuesday or Friday night.
Yeah, that's what we need. Because when I came in because I'm a junior, when I came in my freshman year, it was pretty packed, like with the student section, and especially when we went to the districts and won it. That was amazing. It was amazing. It was filled up. My sophomore year, it started dying down a little bit. We still made it to district finals, still packed. But then, like, this year, it was just like I had to lead the student stage first time ever, and like, okay, we had some ups and downs. It was challenging. It was challenging because like we still had like a good crowd, but it wasn't like what I remember when I first came and all that. So like, we definitely want a more energetic atmosphere and team this year, how to attract more people.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think hopefully I'm going to provide that, man. I'm not a guy that sits in the chair on the sideline the whole game and just kind of claps my hands, man. I'm going to get into it as well. And I think we're going to throw a pretty exciting product out on the floor that people are going to be like, all right, man, let's go check this out tonight.
Yeah, it's interesting too, because I think Coach Busby did a really nice job of when he first started, man, we struggled. We really struggled, and we have grown since then. But I've noticed this even with the football team. Like our football team, I don't know if you got a chance to watch them last year. They had a phenomenal run. It was unbelievable. But I noticed it was almost like we're scoring 50, 60 points a game. And I'm looking at the community and I'm like, and they don't seem excited about it. I'm like, bro, do you even know? Like, do you remember what it was like in this stadium? Like, this has never been done before. There's a challenge, I think, when you start to win, maintaining the winning.
Right, you get a little complacent.
Yes.
Like, oh, man, all right, we've been doing this.
Yeah.
Winning never gets old to me.
Right, and you've won a lot.
Yeah, done.
How do you keep that enthusiasm?
Winning provides that, man.
Yeah.
To be able to, if you have a really good team, the newspaper comes to your game a little bit more.
Right.
You're going to get a few extra clips on the TV. You might, as a coach or a player, you might get interviewed. When I was coaching at Hackett, we had a really nice run, and Fox 17 or Channel 3 would come to practice a few different times through the years. Those things help to kind of build that momentum. Everybody loves attention. Yeah. Positive attention. Nobody likes the negative attention. So when you have opportunities to put yourself out there, to make yourself available for everybody to see, everybody kind of benefits from that. And so everybody loves a winner. winning's the best deodorant that you could ever get. It covers up a lot of stink and a lot of errors. And sometimes you get, what's the word I'm looking for? I think you just get accustomed to winning.
Yeah.
When I was at Hackett, we won 36 consecutive regular season games.
Wow. 36 in a row without losing.
Regular season, yeah.
That's wild.
We had went 20-0 the one year, and then we started the next year 16-0. Wow. The crazy thing about that was the highest, we were Class C Division III, right? And the highest we ever got ranked, I think the undefeated season was 8th.
Okay.
The next year, we're not near as good, in my opinion. Yep. Right? We lost some kids. But we start 16-0. At one point, we're number 2. And I'm looking at it like last year's team would have beat this team by 30. Or maybe not 30, but, just success to me never gets old.
Yeah.
To other people and to somebody in the crowd, it might. And hopefully it doesn't, but.
Right.
Yeah.
Last question for me, and then we could probably wrap it up. What will you do? Because you've been dealt a hand here with the players we have, but you know that Niles is full of talent, especially at the youth level. So what will you do to kind of foster the youth programs and try to maybe have your hand a little bit on that to ensure that, hey, there are 4th and 5th graders coming up. There's, I can tell you right now, there is a 4th grade group. If you stick around this long, you want to stick. I'm telling you, want to stick around because this 4th grade group is coming. They're going to knock your socks off. So what will you do to maybe invest in the younger kids too? Because this is hard. I mean, you're already coaching the varsity level. I mean, you're in charge of the whole program. But how have you done this at your previous stops? How do you integrate and reach out to those youth players to make sure that, hey, I want to be a Viking under Coach Haase when I get to high school?
Right. You make yourself available, and what I mean by that is summer camp. You invest in your summer camp. You make sure that you're there. Youth league, you always need great parents.
Yep.
Show me a good youth league, show me some good youth groups. It's mainly because you've had great parent organization. Mm-hmm. So my thing with everybody kind of from the youth through the middle school is, what do you need from me? What can I do to help out? So, that's summer camp. That's, hey man, like you got tournament this weekend. I'm gonna try to get there and watch. Yeah. Hey, what do you need? Do you need help with gym coordination? Do you need help with, you need some drills? What do you need that I can possibly help you to make it easier for you? Right. I've done free clinics in the spring for elementary levels in the past as well, just to kind of keep that interest rolling. From what I've gathered and what I've heard is we got some really good parents down at the elementary and the middle school level right now that have allowed these kids to play a lot of basketball. We want that to continue. And so you just kind of keep encouraging that. You keep on making basketball a priority. You put an emphasis on it like, hey man, here's these opportunities, more opportunities and more opportunities. And it sounds like most of these kids around here are going to take advantage of them. Yeah. You just have to be able to figure out ways to provide them.
Okay. Excellent. You want to wrap it up?
Yep. Once again, thank you for joining us on this podcast. I had a good time. Good to know you.
Are you excited now?
I'm excited.
I told him, I said, dude, you're going to be excited. Like he's going to be phenomenal. So
yeah, so I'm excited what you're going to bring to the school.
All right.
And
we might need you. Okay, because Trenton runs the Viking Huddle, but we also have a media productions class. And so we might invite you to be part of some video announcements for next year to get the students hyped up.
Always would be willing to do it.
Okay.
Always.
You heard that.
Yep.
and you have a background in theater.
Yeah, one day.
No, I won't. We won't make you wear tights or anything like that.
But anyway, so thank you to our sponsors, Ibid Electric Company and Horizon Realty Group. Just blessed to have money for this.
Yep. Thank you.
This podcast, and wouldn't be it without them.
I want to give another thing. April 28th, we had our talent show today.
Yep.
And it was the unveiling of our new Performing Arts Center. So we want to give a shout out to all the people who made that possible. But April 28th, we are having an open house dedication of our new Performing Arts Center. And if you have not seen it, I'm going to tell you right now, if you've ever been in Niles High School before, what we have built here from the efforts of so many people it will blow your mind. So come out April 28th and see the new Performing Arts Center, because it is phenomenal. So that's April 28th.
I'm going to vouch for that. I got to see the auditorium today, and that's
got to be the biggest change, right? Because you said it looks the same, but
it was impressive.
Yeah,
very impressive.
It's very cool.
But the reminder, if you're going to any athletic events tonight, pick up your trash, home or away. You can make Niles noise on some good plays tonight.
For the baseball game?
For the baseball and softball games.
Yep.
But be mindful with the umps and stuff.
Yeah, if it's Mr. Yankee, heckle him. No, don't do that. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Got to treat our officials with respect.
Oh, yeah. But anyways, Mr. Haase, thank you for joining us. Corn, thank you for filling in.
Oh, I'm not any Rowan Iwanic, but not ideal.
But,
Oh yeah.
But thank you for listening and watching, and have a blessed day. Have a good Easter this weekend, and go Vikes.
Go Vikes.
Ready, break.